Warning, we are not trained or licensed professionals. Do not take any advice that we give as official doctoral prescribed medical treatment. We only use the name as a means to appreciate cinema as a therapeutic device, not to be confused with drugs, antidepressants, or any other forms of enhancements that you might find in legal states. Please enjoy responsibly.
Additional disclaimer. If the film says we can say it too. So check the film rating, and that will be our episode rating. I'm lying on a sofa, and you are my therapist today because I'm messed up after this movie.
I will gladly be your therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you might be more messed up.
Yes. So welcome to Film Therapy again.
Yeah.
We are Jake
welcome.
and Madison.
As always.
Today we watched The Lost Highway. Just Lost Highway. Lost Highway. Lost Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by our repeating guest, David Lynch.
Man, if we had David Lynch on here even once, that'd be amazing. Having him repeatedly on here.
Yes.
Would be something.
And Kyle.
And Kyle, of course. And Lucy. Lucy Deakins.
I miss Kyle in this movie. I wish he was in it.
Me too.
He just would have stole the show, though.
Even if it was a bit part, we still would have been like, that's hands down the best scene, is whatever scene Kyle was in.
Yeah, because, well, you said Giovanni, what's his name, was in it, and I didn't even notice him, ever. And you just said you heard a line said by him, and you're like, I know he's somewhere in that crowd.
Yeah, that was me. That's what I said.
But he was credited at the beginning and everything, so.
When Pete's friends show up, yeah, one of them says a line. There's like four of them. One of them says a line, and I'm like, I know who that is.
So weird.
This is one of those movies where absolutely go in blind. Just go in knowing absolutely nothing about the plot.
That's what I did.
Because
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly.
The plot does not matter.
No, it doesn't. It's about the emotion.
If I would have read let me read you the IMDb logline.
Okay.
Anonymous videotapes cause a musician's murder conviction, and a gangster's girlfriend leads a mechanic astray. That's it.
How? Yeah, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the picture is the image of the man.
The creepy man.
The poster is really cool, though.
Yeah, it is. So I will take a second to recap this film for you. It doesn't really make sense, even with the recap, so here you go.
I cannot wait for your recap.
Directed by David Lynch, Lost Highway was released in 1997, starring Patricia Arquette, Bill Pullman, and Balthazar Getty. From this inventory of imagery, Lynch fashions two separate but intersecting stories. One about a jazz musician, Fred, played by Bill Pullman, tortured by the notion that his wife is having an affair, who suddenly finds himself accused of her murder. The other is a young mechanic, Pete, played by Balthazar Getty, drawn into a web of deceit by a temptress who is cheating on her gangster boyfriend with him. These two tales are linked by the fact that the women in both are played by the same actress, Patricia Arquette. It begins with our first couple getting mysterious VHS tapes in the mail of footage of their house with them sleeping in it. They hire detectives to investigate. Fred ends up in jail for the murder of his wife, which he does not remember committing. All of a sudden, Pete is in the jail cell instead of Fred. We then follow Pete in his life as a mechanic, where he meets Alice, who is Patricia Arquette. Both of these stories are haunted by a mystery man claiming he knows all. We don't know what order this movie is told in, nor how the two plots are connected. But we made some pretty interesting theories.
This is a movie.
I don't even know where to start. This is a movie. I don't know how.
I was going to say let's go in chronological order, but even that's debatable.
I know, right? There's so many things that so many places where I thought it was going to go, but it didn't.
So, okay, let me ask you this. Because we'll break it off into sections, but we'll obviously probably overlap. But I was going to ask you first thing is, would you say you liked this overall?
Absolutely. This might be my favorite David Lynch film.
Okay, because I was thinking along the same lines, and I'm glad you liked it a lot.
But it might not have been my favorite David Lynch film if I would have seen it first. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because
for sure.
It's similar to Mulholland Drive, and it's similar to season 3 of Twin Peaks. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm just getting used to the style now, and I understand it kind of, and mm-hmm. I can appreciate it, not just be blown away, mind explosion, except I was, but not in the same way as when I watched Mulholland Drive for the first time, you know? So I'm not sure if I would have liked it if I saw it first, but now I really, really like it.
Maybe the best way to discuss this movie is to just kind of go section by section.
Okay.
Okay, so the movie starts with Fred and Renee in their house. The furniture of their furniture is David Lynch's own furniture from his apartment.
I was really wondering about the furniture. It's so weird. I was like, that couch just does not look good in there. And
No.
it doesn't really go with the table or the cabinets, and it's just I don't know, it was out of place. They had that really long wide shot of the entire room, and that's when I noticed everything. I was like,
Yeah.
this is weird. What his entertainment stand, is that his too?
I'm not sure what exactly is his, but I just read that on IMDb, I think, that is the furniture is his. So I assume that. I wonder if that VCR setup is his, where it's like in the corner and then it's completely seems like it's disconnected from the TV entirely.
Yeah, it was like way far away.
Did you get vibes of because I felt a little bit of this. Did you get vibes of like The Ring, like the mysterious videotape?
I've actually never seen The Ring.
Full disclosure, I've never seen The Ring.
But I did get flashbacks to Annabelle Comes Home that I watched last week.
That's okay.
There's like the creepiest scene in the movie is when this girl is in the room of the haunted objects at the Warren's house, and there's this television set, kind of. Yeah, I think it's like a really, really old television, and it turns on and she notices it, and it's playing her reflection, but like 5 seconds in advance.
Wow.
And so that was like very Lynchy to me, so that's why I liked that part. But it was, yeah, and then it would be she saw herself like turn and scream, and then she would like turn and scream in real life. It was so creepy. And so that I kind of thought it was going to be something like that, like where all of a sudden we saw Patricia Arquette walk out the door and pick up the videotape from the sidewalk or something. And then it was like a weird future camera. And then I also thought it was going to be one of them videotaping or something, and then they just forgot about it. But I don't know. It still doesn't make any sense. Hold on, let me think.
Take your time.
It was the old creepy man who had the video camera.
Mm-hmm. He's called the Mystery Man.
The Mystery Man, yes,
according
he is.
To the credits.
Mystery Man.
It's quite a mystery. And he is a man.
So it was revealed that he has the camera at the end. But in the beginning, he was talking with Fred at Andy's party, and he said he could prove he could get inside their house. So that was kind of our first clue to that, but we still don't know why or how. My brain. It's sizzling. Yeah, so when we started, you said that this was possibly in the same universe as Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm. Which is still yet to be confirmed.
Yet to be confirmed.
From my team of sources.
But it could definitely could be.
Well, then technically all movies could be connected, but that's a whole other topic for a whole other day.
You're right. So then it's hard not to, because this is so similar to season 3 and Mulholland Drive. Like you said, when we watched Mulholland Drive, this is kind of like really like the opposite of it in
like
a way.
The inverse.
Yeah.
Cause
the inverse.
Because like the first third is like one thing and the last 2/3 are another, whereas Mulholland Drive is the opposite.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's all about people becoming different people, but also the same people in the different in the same universe. That's different universes. They're all tied together, and people just get trapped in one place or another, and they don't know how they got there. But then they have some memories of it and some memories of their old life, and then it all comes colliding back to them at the end, and we don't really know what happens to them.
We also don't know what happens to Annie.
Nope. Where did Annie go?
Unless you read Mark Frost's book, but still, if they make a season 4, can Annie be in it and can Harry be in it?
Please.
I mean, they don't even have to be Annie and Harry because, you know.
Yeah. They could be whoever.
But also, that's the thing about David Lynch is even if you spoil it, it doesn't really spoil it because, like, I mean, there are some things to spoil.
Because you still don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah. For this movie, like, Dick Laurent dies, but then that doesn't tell you anything because...
Well, and you find out that within the first minute of the movie.
Yeah, bad example. Okay.
You could find out that Andy dies.
Yeah, you could find out that Andy dies, which, you know, it happens. It's a spoiler, I guess, but...
But it doesn't mean anything.
No.
You don't
In the
know
grand
what
scheme of
context.
things, it really doesn't...
And we're talking Andy in this movie, not Andy in Twin Peaks.
Oh, yeah.
He reuses so many names. It's like, come on, dude. There are so many names out there. Although I am honored to have my name in this movie as a last name, but still. But it's like there's so many he could choose from. But he reuses Alice and Andy and a bunch of other ones from other movies. Pete.
Yeah, Pete. Because this has the two Petes on screen together. Pete Martell and Pete Dayton.
It's really hard for me to picture not Jack Nance when you say Pete, so...
Yeah, me too. So
me
Pete Dayton is Balthazar Getty and Pete Martell is Jack Nance. Which this was his final movie, so... Rest in peace,
yeah.
Jack Nance. And pretty much every actor from Twin Peaks that has passed on, and there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. Do you think it's kind of cursed?
I don't care if it's cursed, I'd still be in it. I'd still be in... If I was cast in something Twin Peaks related, I don't care what it is, I'd do it.
Oh, man.
If you got to have a scene with Kyle MacLachlan, that would be the dream, but, like... And anything would be good.
Yeah. This was, I liked how creepy and scary this movie was.
Yeah.
It gave me a thrill. Woohoo!
What did you think of Fred's saxophone solo at the... It's not the Pink Room, but it's basically the Pink Room. It's called the Luna Lounge, I think.
Oh, okay. That was awesome. I was like, man, why didn't you tell me this was a movie about a guy playing the saxophone, which is really not. So that's why I understand.
Because it's not St. Elmo's Fire.
Yes, it's just
Lost Highway.
Just a guy who plays the saxophone for a couple scenes. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I really liked it, and that was not the club I thought they were talking about before. When she said, "Sorry, I can't come to the club," and then it's like a cool jazz club. So
jazz.
And I thought that Fred's character was really creepy at the beginning. I thought he was kind of messed up. I thought that he was an abusive boyfriend or husband, and something was going on, like he was really controlling or something, but it turned out that he wasn't at all, so I don't know what that was about. I don't know why he was so stressed out. Maybe because he was somebody else or something?
Well, I think that's a big part of it. Because I've seen this movie 2.5 times now. Because the first time I saw it, I went back and watched the beginning because I wanted to see all the setups. So like when Renee says, "I met my friend Andy at Moke's," I was like, oh, and the very first line of the movie being Dick Laurent is dead, I was like, oh, that's what it means, because I missed it the first time around.
Yeah, I'm really glad you told me to put my subtitles on, because I would have missed that too.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have mine on the first time, and then I was like, wait, what does that line mean at the very end? But anyway, after watching that section of the movie 3 times, I took it to be more as like, for Fred's character, he's feeling really, really overwhelmingly anxious and self-conscious about his relationship, his marriage with Renee. Because, because she's like, I'm going to stay home and read. I'm not going to go to the club. And then in his, I think, I mean, like, they're joking about it, but I think in his mind, he has the possibility of what if she's sleeping with somebody else? Because then we have, and like, it's weird because we don't know if it's a dream or what it is, but like when he sees her talking to, maybe it's Andy. I missed that shot, but like she's talking to somebody by the exit sign, and then like
Andy
like,
was there, but I don't know if she was talking to him. I saw him walk by at one point, but I missed the shot before that.
Yeah, so she was talking to somebody, like at the edge of the club when he was performing, and then he noticed that, and then also him not being able to perform in bed, and him like he called after his show and she didn't wake up and answer, and then she said, "You can wake me when you come home," and he doesn't. So he's just having all these like severe insecurities about their relationship.
Okay.
I would think
That makes sense. And
then also some creep is sending videotapes of them sleeping. So like,
yeah, what? She's like, maybe it's from the realtor.
yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's the first part. And then we jump into suddenly
Movie
Fred
number 2.
has murdered Renee and he goes to jail.
Yep.
And we're like, okay, here we are. We're doing this now. All right. Just going to follow it. That's where it lost. Well, no, before that, it lost me. I was like doing a really good job following along until maybe I guess it was the third video where you see that he murdered her, and then it does the flashback or whatever it is, the flash of Sheila screaming, "Pete, Pete." And then I'm like, what the fuck? And then we see him go to jail. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stop trying now and just watch. I didn't take any notes just because I was like, I'm just going to take this in and see what happens.
Well, yeah, because I don't think we ever find out really, like, I mean, we do, but we don't find out what happened to Pete that night because we just see Sheila calling him, and then, like, later on, like, his parents, like, they won't tell him, like his dad, like, says he knows what happened, but he won't tell him what happened.
Right, and it's really weird. What do you think happened?
I don't know. Other than him and Fred, you know, that, I don't know.
Maybe he just went into, like, the portal thing that they went into in season 3 of Twin Peaks.
Which one?
Or
like
something.
To go to the lodge, you mean? Or like this, like
Yeah.
the one in space?
The one where, like, Andy and Lynch and Gordon Cole, and then, I guess, was it the sheriff? Yeah, when they were supposed to be in North Dakota or South Dakota or something, and then they look up into the sky, and then Andy gets sucked in. Maybe something like that. With
Albert too. Is that who you were thinking of also?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, maybe that is where they go.
Because that would be weird. And then there was that light. Where was that? In the jail?
In the jail cell, yeah.
It kind of reminded me of like an alien abduction type thing.
Yeah.
Because I noticed it was blue, and I'm like, that's not really a color we see in Lynch films.
No.
So I thought it was interesting.
Other than the blue glow of Laura's angel.
Maybe it was Laura.
Oh my god. What if it was?
She's like, here, let me fuck you up a little bit. Let's go. Let's make things interesting. I'm bored. She's just spending her time wisely, man.
Yeah. Just messing up this probable murderer's life.
Oh my god.
Like, hey, you maybe murdered your wife? Yeah, here, I'm gonna mess up your life. I'll make it good for a while because you'll have a girlfriend, and you also are gonna meet your wife's doppelganger. But other than that, it's gonna all come crumbling down.
Thanks, Laura. You made for a good movie.
Speaking of Fire Walk with Me, it's also structured like that, where the last 2/3 are like the meat and potatoes of the story, and then the first third's like its own thing, and then they connect. Even though this connects more than that does. Also, both movies have David Bowie.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Well, David Bowie was singing in this. He sang the opening and the ending, but.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Marilyn Manson was in it.
Yeah. He has a song on the soundtrack also.
Yeah, the soundtrack was weird. It was real heavy and rocky. Not like traditional Lynchy to me.
No, it wasn't.
Like the opening credits were fast and action-packed and really gave a weird feeling to start off the movie. And then it goes into like this slow, really dim opening.
Yeah.
Really quiet.
Yeah.
And then it blasts you with the saxophone.
Yep. This movie's rating is fascinating. It's rated R for... This is the most Lynchian rating ever. Rated R for bizarre, violent, and sexual content, and for strong language. Yeah, bizarre. Bizarre.
Oh my god. Like, what does that matter if it's bizarre?
Yeah, I saw it when the movie started because it was on Amazon. That's where we watched it. When it said that, I was like, wait a minute, like bizarre, like that's so fitting.
Yes, it was bizarre.
So I think the very first scene of this movie, I almost said Pete, when Fred, same thing, when Fred is inside his house and he hears the doorbell and then his own voice telling him about, I think that is that scene at the end of the movie, like takes place after Fred has possibly killed Renee, because the movie like fades out after every scene, so you don't even know like what the order is.
That's true. That could be why he looked so stressed out when at the very beginning.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, because it's kind of like Mulholland Drive and that, where you're like, which happened before, and then you can try to figure it out. So yeah.
And then the line where the detective says, "Do you have a video camera?" And Fred says, "I like to remember things my own way." How that comes back at the end with the mystery man filming him, and then with the whole thing with Pete. That's kind of like a take on that,
Yeah, sets up the theme right there. Now you got me thinking.
I'm gonna make you think some more. I don't know what's up with that log cabin burning in reverse. Like they do that twice. Like and then we don't see it actually burn in forward motion.
That's true.
So like
maybe so we saw it happen at the end when all of a sudden Alice disappears, right? Mm-hmm. Or is it before that? No, it's before that. Yeah.
The cabin like unexplodes and then they get to it and then Alice disappears.
And then before it was just kind of thrown in there. Mm-hmm. I don't remember at what point.
It was sometime, I think it was like right before Fred changes into Pete. I think it was like right before that.
Okay, so maybe at the times where they change from Fred to Pete to Fred, it happens, but
yeah.
And I guess that has to do with the creepy man. So that's where he lives, I guess. Maybe it's like him coming back to life. It's like he's coming out of hell or wherever he's from, and he's like back in the cabin. And then he has to inflict his game, just like Laura. He's in with Laura.
But Laura's not evil or villainous.
That's true.
I mean,
well,
she deals with a lot of shit, but she's definitely a good soul.
But is this guy necessarily evil either? He helps Fred at the end.
He helps him kill someone, but also that person was like messing around with his wife, I think.
But he was Alice, also messing around with his wife or his girlfriend, and he wasn't necessarily a bad guy either.
That first scene, yeah, I'll tie this in, so I'm not going on a tangent. But that first scene when Mr. Eddie comes up to Pete after Pete has been with Alice, like it's just so tense. I'm just like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. Like right away, and like before he even said anything, I was just like, man.
Yeah. Scary.
But yeah, so before that, like Pete and Mr. Eddie had like a really like, I mean, obviously Mr. Eddie's kind of a shady guy, but they had a pretty decent relationship, where he was like his mentor in a way. Because then that mean if Pete is also Fred, but Pete's like could be a younger Fred, and that's how he met Renee, except she's Alice because he's just disassociating that in his mind. And then at the end when he sees Renee with Mr. Eddie, like that's like him, like coming to grips with it, I guess, or contextualizing it.
Yeah.
Or it could be that Fred's alternate persona is somebody who's super cool and who multiple women are attracted to, and like everything that he fears he's not. Mm-hmm. So him killing Mr. Eddie and him and the creepy man killing Mr. Eddie is kind of like, it's the culmination of all of that in a way, I think. But I'm not entirely sure how, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Like I feel like I'm connecting the dots, but not all of them.
Right. There's always some outliers that still don't make any sense. But that's a good idea, though.
Because there's the picture of Renee and Alice together with some of the guys, and then when the detectives look at it, it's just Renee. So
right.
Are they the same person? Are they not? It just kind of leaves it up in the air.
Probably they are, because the detectives are... They carry us through the whole thing. They string it together for us while we're watching. They're the constant between the stories, or a constant, and so they arrest. Well, first they come to the house for the investigation of the mysterious tapes. Then they arrest Fred after he murders Renee. Then they're watching Mr. Eddie come to Pete's garage. Then they follow Pete around for some reason. Why do they follow Pete around if Mr. Eddie's the one they want?
I guess because Pete was the one who appeared in Fred's cell.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. Yes. And then, do they show up again after? Oh yeah, they start chasing Fred in the car chase at the end. So I think what they see is the truth, whatever that may be. But what do they see? They see Fred.
And Pete and Alice and...
Do they see Alice?
Because when she and Pete meet at the motel, they follow them.
Oh, right.
Like every time they meet up, the detectives
That's
are
right.
following them.
That's right. So who is that then?
Who is who?
Who is Alice?
Alice is Renee.
But she's dead in this timeline.
Is she though? Is it somehow both a concurrent yet past timeline? Like, okay, if we're going with a non-linear time theory, then the movie makes sense. We're done.
Okay, so if you're talking like the Pete was a former Fred somehow.
Fred in his younger days.
The detectives are following him because he's got a Mr. Eddie problem.
Yep.
And they have a Mr. Eddie problem too.
Yep.
For some reason, his name is Mr. Eddie and Dick Laurent.
It's probably a pseudonym.
Yeah. And 'cause he's some sort of gangster, I guess. But I don't know. He seemed like a nice dude.
Yeah.
I guess gangsters can be nice.
As long as you don't tailgate him.
Exactly.
Which, to be fair, don't tailgate. I can't tolerate it. I can't stand it.
That scene was kind of like the Heineken equivalent.
Yes.
In Blue Velvet. He's just like so mad about something so mundane. It's hilarious.
Yeah. That was so funny. I loved that. It's like horrific, but it's also hilarious. So it's like, it's such a Frank Booth moment.
So Alice and Pete are doing their thing. Maybe they
literally.
Maybe they ran away together. They got new names. They became Fred and Renee, and then the other timeline happens. And
then the creepy man catches up with them somehow.
Yeah.
Because he's from the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
But then what's the connective tissue of when they're waiting at the cabin and then Alice says, "You'll never have me," and leaves. And then Pete turns back into Fred. Maybe because he was remembering that when he was Fred. And then since he killed her, that's what his brain took that as or something. Like, "You'll never have me." But even though he does have her because they get married. But what does have me mean? I don't know. Because they have sex, so that's like having someone in a way. And then she was like a figment of his imagination at that point. Because then she goes into the cabin, which is a mystical place. Yeah. A little bit magical, a little bit mystical. Gosh, my brain like literally hurts. Yeah, exactly. Well, welcome to David Lynch. But I shouldn't say it's amazing. Welcome. This is like the last step. Only other movie I recommend of his is Elephant Man, but that's like the most easy to comprehend. And it's on Amazon Prime. I just found out, so. Oh, sweet. I recommend it, but like, it's not David Lynch like this David Lynch. It's David Lynch like straightforward season 1 of Twin Peaks. Actually, no. It's easier to understand this. It's his most digestible work because it's based on a true story. Oh,
How about that?
Got nominated for Oscars.
Dang. Okay, yeah, I'll have to watch that next.
But yeah, as far as David Lynch mind melding stuff, this is this is the final evolution. This is the final step for you.
Okay.
So
Thank you. I appreciate you taking me on this journey.
I appreciate you going on this journey with me. Like,
It's been wonderful.
it's been a hell of a journey. And then the next step is browsing theories online and rewatching the movies and just thinking about them a lot and talking about them. And that part never ends.
Okay, good. Great. Yeah, so this morning it was weird. I had to wake up early
Yeah.
to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a series. Wait, was this last night or 2 nights ago? Now I'm confused because I took a nap today. But I woke up and I've been having these dreams about the same person over and over and over, and it's someone I went to high school with. And in my dreams, I'm like completely enamored with him, and like sometimes we're together, sometimes we're not, and it's so weird. Well, because in real life, I like had a crush on this kid since I was like in daycare.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He was just always someone who I had a crush on. But then I've been dreaming about him probably once every couple weeks for the past 4 months. And yesterday I woke up, or whenever it was, I was like brushing my teeth, and I'm like, what if I'm in a coma and he is my husband and I am just like dreaming this reality right now where I'm with my current boyfriend, I'm living in North Carolina, and then I just all of a sudden wake up and my whole life is completely different, but maybe a little bit of the same. And that tripped me out for a really long time. Because, yeah, it reminded me of David Lynch stuff because he throws in parts of their other reality into the reality that we're watching, you know, like when Pete's in the garage and he's hearing that saxophone solo and he's like, oh, turn it off. And
then Jack Nance is like, I liked that.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's just like, why am I dreaming about this guy all the time? And I haven't ever talked to him, really. Like, not that much. We barely talked in high school, and I don't know. It's just been really, really weird.
I'm going to add a couple things to that. First of all, if the reality that we are in, every single one of us, including me, is just a false projection of your false reality, then I hope that in your real reality, where you're in a coma and married to this guy, first of all, hopefully he's a good husband. Second of all, hopefully I exist in that reality. And third...
Yeah.
I didn't have a third. I lost it. The other thing is, because as you are all aware, I've had recurring dreams of people that I've never met and never seen. Mm-hmm. People that just show up. Yeah, okay. So, Alice or Renee, which one do you like better? Even though they're the same person.
Oh, I don't know. I like them both. I guess we didn't really see much of Renee, so.
What was the point of there was that moment when Alice is just standing downstairs and Pete comes down the stairs and Alice just is like pointing a gun at him. Like, that threw me for a loop because I'm like...
just a fake out.
I was like, oh, shit. But you can never be too sure what's a fake out and what's not.
Right.
So, the very end when Fred's being chased by the police, and then there's, like, the blue flashes. One theory that I've heard, and this is how I interpreted it when I first saw it, was that's him dying in the electric chair. Because that's what his sentence was.
Oh,
when he was pulled into... When he was, like, put in the jail cell. Like the judge said, well, you're sent to death in the electric chair, so...
Yes.
I didn't know if you had any thoughts on the very second to last, I guess, shot of the movie.
Yeah, that makes sense, kind of. I mean, not really, but, you know. And
or he's turning into someone else and there can be a sequel.
Yeah.
That's a better idea.
It reminded me of when Mr. C is struggling to keep his reality in season 3 of Twin Peaks.
The woodsmen have to come out.
But yeah, his face was all warped and everything, and yeah, it did look like a bunch of shocks. I'm not sure what happens to your face if you get electrocuted, but so maybe it's something like that.
Were there flashes of Pete's face too, or did I just imagine that?
I don't know.
Because I thought I saw Pete's face and I was trying to figure it out, but I couldn't quite see it. So
I'm not sure.
So I drew a connection between this and Twin Peaks, a thematic connection. And,
okay, great.
And I told you this. Alice is Laura and Bobby is Pete. But then if Alice is Laura, then that means Renee would be Maddie, Laura's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
But then who Fred would be, I have no idea. Which means the creepy man is probably Bob. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that connection.
Well, the reason I connected is because, both female characters have blonde hair and their doppelgangers have darker hair, and Bobby and Pete both are, wear leather jackets and are same kind of character trope type in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So
kind of sensitive.
Sensitive, tough guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they project themselves as being, really cool, and then they're really sensitive.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe Fred is James. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Fred's insecurities are that he's not good enough for his wife and he's not cool anymore. But then in Twin Peaks, James is always cool. James has always been cool, and even when he's older, he's not concerned about that because he's got his friend Freddie. So.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Is this another name repetition?
Right? Isn't that his name, Freddie, the guy with the green glove?
I don't know.
I think so. Let me look it up.
That's weird if it is.
Yep.
It's Freddie?
Yep. It's Freddie.
Oh boy. Here we go.
I really don't want this, but part of me kind of wants this, but it would have had to been made in the 90s. But, imagine if it's, all of David... It's like a movie where Cooper meets, Fred or Pete, and then Jack Nance is, So basically it's like Avengers, but it's David Lynch, and then there's, 7 Jack Nances. There's Henry from Eraserhead, Pete, one of Frank's goons, and then whoever he is in this movie. And then there's Fred and Pete, and then they alternate every few scenes. And then same thing with Renee and Alice. And then there's Bob and the creepy man are trying to start some evil stuff. And then it's Cooper and Laura and.
Oh boy.
It's the worst idea ever, but when you think about it, it's kind of cool.
I don't think I could handle it.
It's Kyle MacLachlan, Bill Pullman, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, and Isabella, Laura Dern. Shirley, obviously. Do you think that, what's her name? Pete's girlfriend, Sheila, is that her name? Mm-hmm. She looks a little bit like Audrey. I don't know if you agree with that. A little bit,
I guess. Yeah.
I think it's because their hairstyles are similar.
Yeah.
I think it's one shot. I think it's that when he goes to pick her up and then she's when she gets in the car that Pete's in. Mm-hmm. For a split second, I'm she looks like Audrey, and then I'm man, imagine if it was Cheryl and Fenn. Imagine. I'm just trying to connect all these actors into. But you know what? I blame Marvel for that because my brain wouldn't do that if it wasn't for that.
True. Okay. Well.
Help.
Lost Highway.
Oh, I do have something.
Okay.
Would you say this is the David Lynch movie with the most amount of sex in it?
Yeah, I think so. Got pretty heavy at the end. I was okay, here we go again. Oh, boy.
With the amount of sex, or what was the murder, or
Yeah, no, with the amount of sex.
Like how Mulholland Drive, and then I guess Twin Peaks season 3 at the end is also like that has that weird.
Oh, yeah.
The part with Fred and Renee and like the really uncomfortable ambiance from Angela, like that seemed like the precursor to the scene in part 18, which is like the most uncomfortable scene ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just something I was like, this might be, because Mulholland Drive there isn't a lot of sex in it. There's like 2 or 3 moments, scenes, but in this movie there's a lot of
yeah, about like 7.
teen.
17. NC-17.
Well, close. R. Bizarre violence. Very, very bizarre. Bizarre R. That's why the 11-year-old couldn't get into the pirate movie.
Arr.
Because it's about pirates. I'm not paying you to do stand-up, Mr. Squidward. He didn't laugh because he couldn't laugh because he's a robot. Nah. Squidward, it's horrible. The robots have taken over the Navy. Not the Navy. I'm just unraveling now. I pieced myself together and now I'm unraveling again.
I know. I don't know what else to say. It's just so crazy. So this was originally released in France, and then Switzerland, and then the US at Sundance.
Okay, so the guy who plays the mystery man, he was tried and acquitted of the murder of his second wife, and then he was found liable in a California court for her wrongful death.
What?
So, to make it even creepier, that's real life.
What? That's crazy. When was that?
2001. So 5 years after the movie.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That's insane. That makes him so much more creepy.
Uh-huh. One last thing I did want to mention with the movie, unless you had like other things to talk about. I really love the scene when Pete sees Alice in the car. Just like the way just like how the song is and just the way it's like shot, like in this like it's like this artsy kind of slow motion, and it reminds me of the scene in Mulholland Drive when Naomi Watts and Justin Theroux, what are their character names? Betty and I forget his name, but when they see each other, like it's the same kind of energy.
Yeah, magical.
Even though, yeah, it's magical, exactly. Except in that movie, it's more about the third person between the two of them rather than each other. Which I guess in this movie you could argue that, but it doesn't matter. I screwed myself up.
No, that's okay.
Anyway,
that makes sense.
This is what happens when you go straight from watching David Lynch to sitting down and talking about
it's
it.
just kind of like a brain dump. But this is what you need after you watch a movie like this, I think. It's just to talk it out and say, well, what if this happened? But what if this happened? Wait, but what? And yeah, that really helps me. I feel better about it.
So, what if it's like a circular time loop? So, Pete is the younger version of Fred, and Alice is the younger version of Renee, and it happens like you said, except when she dies or is murdered or whatever, then it just keeps circling back.
That could be true, because it's like
so like,
he's in hell
when
or
Fred
something.
at the end when Fred's like flipping out and screaming and then the highway is like silent, like what if that's going back to the beginning of the movie?
Oh yeah, I could see that for sure.
How much do you think the actors of Pete and Fred, how much do you think they look like each other? Do you think that's plausible?
I thought they looked a lot
Like
alike,
his younger
yeah.
self?
I mean they look generally the same.
And then Alice and Renee look pretty similar. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I'm glad you really liked this movie. I really like it too. I have like a strange urge to watch it again. Not right this minute, but like in the near future. Which happened the last time I saw it. Which also happens with Twin Peaks and Mulholland Drive.
When was the last time you watched it?
Go check the episode date. It's probably before that. September, October, November. I think November.
Okay.
Because I was watching Lynch movies in August, and then I took a break because I forget why I took a break, but I took a break, and then I went back, and this was like one of the last ones I watched.
Yeah, I think it's because you couldn't find one or something, and then...
Yeah. And then that one I found on YouTube and watched like half of it because it was not good.
That's right.
Sorry, David. You're still one of my favorite filmmakers.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't get it doesn't mean somebody else wouldn't. Like, I'm sure there's someone out there who understands every single David Lynch movie who's not David Lynch.
Yeah, probably.
Because somebody could actually watch Lost Highway and be like, oh, I totally get what all this means, and then they go and watch like I don't know, like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or The Shining. Yeah, that's a better example. Like they go and watch like The Shining, and then they're like, I have no idea what the hell just happened.
Yeah, true. Speaks to different people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this was very good. I'll probably try to rewatch parts of it before my rental expires.
That's what I did. I just watched the first half all over again because I wanted to connect all the dots of all the lines. And if you notice anything, like, let me know because I'm really curious.
Okay, I will. So do you want to move into what we watched this week?
Sure. What did you watch this week? Because I didn't watch... I did watch something, but I'm going to save it for next week.
Okay. I watched... Well, actually, I think I watched something right before our last episode, but I forgot to mention it. It was Unacknowledged, an alien UFO documentary on Prime. It was very good. I don't remember if I finished it or not, so maybe that's why I didn't say it, but it has a ton of information if you're interested in aliens. I was like bombarded with things I wanted to fact check the entire time, so I kind of got overwhelmed, but it was very interesting. And then I also watched Coming to America, the original with Eddie Murphy, and that was good. It was entertaining. It was funny. And
I think Coming to America, the sequel title, is the worst sequel title ever.
Oh no.
Because it's the same. Yeah, so phonetically, it's the exact same thing.
Uh-huh.
Like when you say Coming to America, now you have to say, oh, the original or oh, the second one. You can't.
Right.
Because like when you say, so that really actually irks me, even though I haven't seen either movie. I mean, putting 2 in the sequel title, that's great. Like Too Fast, Too Furious, Madagascar, whatever the second one's called. They put 2 in the middle.
Oh my god.
Then there's movies where they just put the 2 in the middle, like something to something, even though like not Jungle to Jungle, because that's an actual movie, but like some movie where it's like if it was Lost Highway 2, it would be like Lost 2, the number 2, then Highway. Like that's how the titles.
Right.
So I don't like Coming to America, the second movie's title, because that's
fair.
Irritating.
That is irritating because you still have to say the first one or the new one. I
had to, because like Coming to America too. Okay, but like I had to get that off my chest because I've been seeing the ad for that all week, and I'm just like, God, that title sucks. I hate it.
Get it all out. So that was fine. It was good. It was funny.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. That was good.
I'll probably watch the second one at some point. I mean, I'll watch Coming to America.
Yeah. Next week, Maddie tells us she wants Coming to America again.
Yes.
See, like that's a title, Coming to America Again.
Uh-huh.
Like that's a good sequel title.
And I wonder what the premise is.
And you know, if they wanted to call it Coming to America with the number 2 and like those 4 words, you can do that. Just don't make it the same title as you. It's like calling Halloween 2018. It's like calling that Halloween when the first one's called Halloween.
Right.
It's like calling 5 Cream Scream. Don't call the 5th one Scream. That's the title of the first one.
Oh yeah.
You're bringing actors back, so it's clearly a sequel. Like. Mm-hmm.
So annoying.
Don't name sequels the same number as the originals. Call it whatever Ghostbusters. That's the one I was thinking of. Ghostbusters 2016. It's just called Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah. Stupid. And then people call it The Girl Ghostbusters. Or whatever. Yeah.
Now it's all out, I think. Stupid. Anyway, I'm glad that you enjoyed the movie. Have you seen Trading Places?
Yeah. I think we watched that in film school.
I watched part of it. It was in Tom's class. We watched like part of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we watched part of it. I can't remember if
we watched
I've
the
seen
first
the whole
act.
thing.
Yeah, we watched the first act of like 3 different movies, and that was one of them.
Yeah, that's right. And then I also watched Deerskin. It's a French movie on HBO Max. It was amazing. Have you seen that movie called Rubber that's about a killer tire?
Why have you not told me about that movie? That sounds like the greatest movie ever made.
It's
what
really
are we doing
funny.
watching Lost Highway? Can we watch Rubber for next week?
Yes, let's watch Rubber.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Anyway, Deerskin. What is this?
So it's by the same
how is this
director
connected?
as Deerskin. And this is also a weird inanimate object as the antagonist. It's
Deerskin?
about a deerskin jacket. So he buys this really expensive deerskin jacket, and then the jacket takes over him and wants to be the only jacket left in the world. So now that's his mission, is to eliminate all the other jackets.
This sounds... This one... It sounds almost as good as Rubber.
Yeah, it was really entertaining. And it was like serious and like artsy and really pretty, and about like about filmmaking and stuff too. So it wasn't just like stupid comedy, and it was French. So it's not like Sharknado or something where it's like intentionally schlocky. What about Rubber? Is that one like also beautifully filmed? A little less, I would say. I think I haven't seen it in a long time, but that one I think is more comedic.
Okay.
But this one was more serious. Like, you could actually feel it happening, kind of.
So is Rubber like the story of Sharknado, but the filmmaking of The Great Beauty?
Maybe, yeah.
Is that like the way to describe it?
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
I was thinking, what's a really artsy movie? And I'm like, Great Beauty. That's the first one that popped in my head.
Yes. And I can't remember if I think Rubber's in English. I think it's set in the UK. But this one was in France. And they spoke French.
As long as the editing doesn't make me nauseous, I would love to watch it.
No, I don't think it will. Oh, The Great Beauty did?
No, not The Great Beauty. Snatch did.
Oh.
Do you remember? Did I talk about that in the podcast? I watched
Yeah.
like 10 minutes Snatch twice because I wanted to give it a shot. So I watched it the first 10 minutes twice, and both times I felt like nauseous because the editing was so like, because literally like the camera, it's like the camera moves in and out and back and forth and left and right, and like the image like spins clockwise and counterclockwise.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't take this. I'm sorry, I have to turn it off.
I know, it's so extra.
It's only like 100 minutes, but I can't even sit through the first 15.
It was a hard movie to watch for me too. But that is all I watched. So, what should we watch next week?
I thought we were watching Rubber.
You want to watch Rubber? Let's do it.
Is it? Let's see if it's free anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Free on Vudu, Rubber. Killer
That's what we're
Tires.
watching next week.
Please watch. It's really
Is
great.
it as zany as it sounds?
Yes.
I cannot wait. Yeah, so go home, drive safe, watch Rubber. If you know where Alice is or how Annie is, let us know because we're dying to know.
Please.